It's been a somewhat encouraging week for COVID-19 news here in New Mexico, as the state had 2 days midweek of sub 100 case counts. It jumped up on Wednesday, but we're already nearing the end of the governor's public health order. Ed Perea, what's the big decision you see the governor having to make?
Well, I think the decision that everyone is waiting for is, when are we going to open up, and to what degree are we going to open up? But we've heard so much in the news about the restaurants and this inside dining and the frustrations that are out there amongst the business community, and it's created a lot of conflict in our communities between government and the business community. I think there's a lot of optimism out there, especially if you start to look at the data. The number of positivity rates are coming down. We're under the goal that the governor has set for herself and for ourselves as a community. So I think if we're looking at this and we're a little concerned as to what the future looks like, I think there's a ray of hope, a ray of sunshine that we are seeing. Obviously, we need to be very careful, because just easy as some of these numbers have come down, and they've been coming down since early August, they can spike back up. And I know the governor has expressed some concern with the Labor Day holiday coming upon us just around the corner. Over the course of the past few holidays that we've had, we've generally seen spikes thereafter. And so that could risk this opening of the businesses back up. And I know, again, that is what everyone across the board, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, and we really need that regeneration of our economy, and to ensure that, we try to get back to business, because a lot of people have been hurt by it. So I'm hopeful that these numbers that we've been seeing and these goals that we've accomplished and that we've set for ourselves are going to produce something very positive and allow us as a state, New Mexico, to continue to move forward as a community.
Senator, interestingly, Ed just mentioned the restaurants, of course. There's a big Supreme Court date coming up next week. We will be covering that here on New Mexico PBS. We'll be doing a live stream of that hearing, as a matter of fact. But you can't help but think about cooler temperatures coming for the restaurants. They really struggled with having folks outdoors in the heat. Now they're going to have to struggle with folks outdoors in the cold. I just, is there some wiggle room for the restaurants here, in your view, given the numbers we've seen over the past week and where we're trending?
I think so. We had that small little window where that you were allowed to go inside restaurants, and I went to 2 different ones. They had it was amazing. They complied with all the rules. There was social distancing. People had masks on except when they were ready to eat. Waiters had theirs on all the time. I just felt like they were complying in the same way that is if I was going to one of the big box stores or something. Now I'm there because the time you're there was about the same time, an hour or so. But I think if we keep getting better and better, then I think it's important that we open those up, because that's also an opportunity for recreation with your spouse or your children, your whole family. I'm very concerned about the seasonal change, because I've been also where I'm sitting out on a patio, and I have to tell you, it's a night. Some of them have been a nightmare. One I went to really had this down good. They had big fans and big tubs of ice to where the wind blew across, and it made it like air conditioning outside. Now, there are wonderful heat lamps and things that you can do in the wintertime, but it's still, they can't have total sides and closed in. That's or right. It's being like inside. Yep. So I think we're facing a real hit again if we don't open up the restaurants. And it's not just the restaurants themselves, it's the whole population. I miss the movies. I miss going out to lunch with my friends and meeting up with them. I miss just getting together, a group of friends, and having dinner or something. I've been as ardent as everybody else. I've been supporting local businesses and doing takeout and going to some patios. But I think our numbers show that we could gradually try this and let them see. And if it doesn't work, you can always change it back. But I've forgotten the number, of how many restaurants have closed permanently already.
Right.
And that's hurting
it's an
our
issue.
economy.
Yeah, it's an issue. Serge, pick up on that. And I've got another question for you as well. But this idea that, the governor is in a space now where she could potentially have a little wiggle room. Let's, even holding restaurants aside here, there are a number of other types of businesses that are waiting. We have a big soccer team here. We have that are waiting for the word to start playing. Does she have some wiggle room here? The numbers are looking pretty good.
So Gene, first let me apologize. I was experiencing some technical difficulties and missed quite a bit of what came before, so I apologize for.
You're quite all right.
For stepping on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they were waiting for me to start with the yard work again here outside my house. It's a real confluence of obstacles at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a good moment, right, to make some of these decisions and to be able to open things up and take advantage of all the work that that New Mexicans have done and all the things that we've been going through to try to get to this moment.
Are we good enough at masks now that we could do this? Do you know what I mean? If we go back to how we did it before, Memorial Day weekend and all that, nobody had masks on. Perhaps we can do Labor Day weekend with masks and make this work?
I mean, I think we are, I like your phrase, good enough at masks, right? We're getting better at masks, right? I know I have, it's become more second nature to grab it, put it on, carry it with me, right? I spent the first several weeks of this running back to my car 10 times a day because I had forgotten what I was doing. Now it only happens like 2 or 3 times a day. And as I go around go about my business, I do see very few people who are not wearing masks. And I think we are better at that. And I think, my concern is that we think that, okay, now that hard work is done, look, we did everything, so now we don't have to do anymore, right? Rather than, this is what got us to where we are, let's keep doing this, right? And I've, as UNM comes back, I've seen the students, there's a lot more students around and a lot more opportunities for those numbers to go up as school starts. So I'm optimistic based on what I'm seeing, but in keeping with my other, many other things, I'm not sanguine. I'm not comfortable. And I think there's also
let me ask you this though too. Interestingly, now that I get you on that, you're not comfortable part of your psyche there. The big news of the week, of course, is APS, the school board deciding on Wednesday night that they're going to hold off in-school learning until the end of the semester. Very interesting set of circumstances here. But it also has brought up one thing that we are way behind on, and that is our broadband coverage statewide. And this has really exposed us. And I'm noticing Senator Michael Padilla, you might have picked up on this. He has created legislation called to create the New Mexico Office of High-Speed Broadband Access and Expansion. Interesting little bit there, but I think I know where he's going. Is this the moment to get after broadband? Are we up against the wall here where we have to just say, okay, guys, we need to open the wallet, spend, and let's figure this out?
Yes. I mean, in 2020, not having broadband is like not having electricity, not having running water in our communities. It's scandalous that we have parts of the state and, folks all over the state who need to be able to do this to get access to education, to doctors, to all the things that are happening. And they don't, right? It's as though we said, well, it's nice to have roads, but we're not going to run them out to your house. It's incumbent on all of us as a state to not let this go on any longer than we have to. It is, I live in Albuquerque and have good broadband, and I still have trouble. I drop calls, drop Zoom meetings, when my kids are in classes and whatnot. So it's not limited to the more rural areas of the state or even folks who just, who don't have any internet service at their home. This is a statewide issue. It needs to be something that we jump on because we are, it's so crucial in this moment. And if we don't seize this moment, it's never going to happen. It's embarrassing that we haven't done it so far. Scandalous.
Mm-hmm. Senator, your thoughts on school not happening for Albuquerque Public Schools until at the end of the semester, potentially. We had school board members saying, look, we can always roll back and revisit this as time goes on. But there was an interesting point made in the discussion on Wednesday night, and that is if you think about what's happening after Labor Day, We've got that situation, but we've also got the holiday season coming up. We've got Thanksgiving, of course, Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, and then the Christmas break. And we could be rolling back into a situation even in January where it's worse than we even could possibly hope it could be. Do you see problems down the road with this decision, or do you support the decision?
I think for the time right now, it's probably the best thing for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally think our children are losing a great deal from the experience of being in school, being around their friends and associates, learning the interaction that actually takes place. I think you miss so much. I mean, this is fun doing this online, but I think about how great it is when we're in the studio all together, and how we can interchange and react to each other and see the difference. And children are losing that. I mean, it's bad enough that they're not going to be allowed to do any social things, no sports, no nothing. We're giving our children nothing but a TV screen or an iPad screen and some teaching. You know, they're losing the whole experience of being in school. And so I think we need to focus on how we can possibly make that happen. And I think maybe just saying, no, we're just going to do everything online education is maybe the easy way out to do it. It might be the safest. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Well, there was a lot of testimony during the hearings, of course, from teachers and others that were concerned. And I can't help but think about the parents, Senator. If parents have to work, what's your thought about this? Now that we have the word and we know what's going to be happening now until the first of the year, basically, where do they put their thoughts and minds about how to manage this?
Well, if they're not working, or pardon me, if they are working or part of our essential workers, how do they get daycare? Do they have enough daycare available? Is it safe? So there are a lot of extenuating things that happen. Who gets the kids to work? If you have to be at the grocery store at 4:00 in the morning and you're a single parent, there are just many things that we've had to change so much. I admire parents tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they're handling all of this.
It's really something, isn't it? Yeah, it really is. Hey guys, that'll do it for us this week. I want to a big thanks to our panel. I'm back in a moment with some closing thoughts.